This week, something beauteous beyond belief. David, it's the Alfa Romeo Stelvio
Quadrifoglio, mate.
Quadrifoglio. The star of this car, David, is not the Alfa badge. No, it's not. It is what is contained under this carbon fibre bonnet. David, do the honours.
Oh,
Light as a feather. Light as a feather. Isn't this a beautiful piece of engineering? Look at that. Matched with this beautiful pearlescent paintwork, this metallic white, absolutely gorgeous. And these lights, I noticed as you were positioning the car, do the twirly thing.
oh, when you move the steering
Just
wheel.
extraordinary. And this whole thing is a line of LEDs that light up brightly at night with the indicator down below. And something very, very unusual in any car, to have the number plate off-centered, because why would you want it across this magnificent grille? Thing I want to point out about this though is they've managed to get a grille going from where the bonnet finishes to where the bumper almost finishes without making it look like it's trying to eat itself.
Yes.
Like certain other brands, Audi and Lexus.
Have you seen the latest
Cold.
new Lexus?
The LX,
Yeah, it's...
that you could have hold a ball on that thing. But so this is just beautiful. Hang on one sec. Listen to this. Oh, God.
nice.
Vents in the top. And cameras and various sensors for the driver aids like lane assistance and speed cruise control, which uses the cameras and radars and God knows what. And this, of course, has a full-length glass roof, some of which actually opens.
Oh, doesn't look much room in there. For all the SUV, you still got to duck your head, but you do have reasonable room under here. Oh, and I'm comfortable there. Oh, pretty good support.
Down below, a little way to collapse the seat so you can flatten it from here instead of going to the boot. Vents and a couple of USBs, carbon fibre over here on the door, along with this beautiful dual tone white and green stitching. It would be sinful not to mention these absolutely divine 5-hole wheels. Stunning. And the brakes, David, did you tell me that you can get a $15,000 upgrade to those brakes?
The front disc, you can get ceramics.
Ceramic discs, as if you'd need to spend an extra 15K. If you've got the key in the pocket, you can use the kick to open function. My key is inside the car, so that won't work. But you do get an electric tailgate. A nice, decent sized boot. There's a soft cover up the top. You can let the rear seats down from here. Nice big bass speaker and a couple of rails with adjustable bits so that you can tie your stuff down. There's also a little bin in the side, and the seats go down 40, 40, 20. Plus there's a bag hook, light and 12-volt outlet. Oh, that's nice. Now, unfortunately, David, if it does that in the middle of a corner, it can get a bit squiffy.
Yes, changed in the middle of one corner.
On the way up, and we had a little bit of, we had a Code Brown moment. Very brief, but a Code Brown moment.
Hear that change down, you can hear it clearly, and it snaps into place. I like that.
Yeah.
The suspension is lovely, the handling is beautiful.
What David hasn't mentioned so far, though, is that he is in D, so dynamic mode, which toughens up everything. It bristles with excitement and anticipation. The 8-speed auto. God, I can hardly be heard over that sound, David. It's magnificent. The 8-speed auto gets very, very fast changes. The suspension stands to attention.
It sounds like it is a beautifully engineered engine.
Do you know what it sounds like, David? It sounds like those magnificent Alfas of the 60s. And there's even a colour, which I've alluded to before, Verde Montreal, which harkens back to the Alfa Montreal of the late 60s. That superb little V8, I think it was a 3-litre V8 or thereabouts. Oh. Oh, God. It's making me want to go and have a quiet moment. To myself. Now, I'm going to pop you into N. And this is probably what you're going to be in most of the time. It's what it starts up in on this gorgeous carbon fibre centre console. There's a few quirks about the Stelvio that I'd like to point out. This is 8 inches, but it's a little bit, it's landscape mode, and it can be a little bit difficult to operate. There are controls down here on the centre console, of course, which you
love
prefer to
those.
use. Yep.
This allows me to jump in distinct steps between the choices I have on the screen rather than the random moving target.
Yeah, you can't hit them when you're moving, especially with the suspension in tough mode. But as Patsy used to say, or was it Eddie used to say, I don't want more choices, darling. I just want nicer things. We did run into one problem though. The gear lever has the park on top, and when you grab it with your hand to put it into and out of gear, you've got a habit of grabbing the park button with your thumb and releasing it with your forefinger. So you've got to watch that, but David, I think that's a small price to pay for something that makes you feel, God, it makes me feel 18 again. Not that I'd want to be 18 again. We've got a warning up on the cluster at the moment for low tyres. Now, I've gone and set all the tyres to what I think they should be. We consulted the book in the car, but unfortunately it didn't seem to tell us exactly what these tyre pressures should be. I love this particular section. As you can see, David and I have swapped. This is a lovely big sweeping bend.
It's a U-turn, but an extended bend all the way around.
And it shows you that going very near 360 degrees, you can do it in this car. Normally I have to slow right down, but I went around there at the speed limit of 80. Now I'm speeding up to 110, and I'm going to demonstrate some of our driver aids. Driver aids, David.
Indeed. You've got adaptive cruise control, of course.
Yes, you can set all that up in the system, and by activating the system, pressing set, it's now set. It goes up and down in lots of 10. I've also got steering assistance, which I'm going to activate by pressing the steering wheel button, funnily enough, on the steering wheel. We're on a concrete road with the suspension in normal setting. I'm finding this quite comfortable.
I said earlier that in terms of this being repaired sort of road, where they've taken the asphalt off the top, I think it's remarkably comfortable ride.
You know what we've got here, David, don't you?
What's that?
This is a GT. This is a Grand Tourer.
Yes.
Could you imagine in those beautiful areas in the alpine villages doing those tight bends? David, I've got some vision up as we speak. Tight bends. Do you want to make a comment on tight bends?
There's nothing better than something where you've got to hold on tight.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. And I don't really know what to say to that, so I'm going to move swiftly on.
Now, we should mention, I think, the horsepower of this, the kilowatts.
Yes.
375 kilowatts and 600 Newton meters of torque. If you go to the Stelvio 4-cylinder entry level, about 65,000 plus on roads, 70,000 for the next one, and then 79,000 for those 3 4-cylinder engines. But to get to this one, which has the V6 and admittedly a lot of other things,
The bisexual V6.
Bi-turbo,
Bi-turbo V6.
$147,000.
Yeah. Well, it's a big jump, but I think a lot of what that entails are the bits that you can't see. Some of you can see the carbon fibre trim and so forth, but a lot of it is the engineering, the stuff that's in that 2.9 litre engine, because it is a piece of wizardry. Stellantis, and in particular Alfa Romeo, they're backing up the Alfas and Jeeps and so forth. They had a bit of a reputation for being, what's the word? How's your father when it comes to reputation?
Because you know what they say about Alfa Romeo in the past, its reliability was such a problem that it was the only corporate structure where the CEO was answerable to the manager of spare parts.
Well, on that note, David, in closing, Alfa have answered that question by upping the warranty to 5 years, with 5 years roadside assist.
You know, Alan, I look up to you, particularly when I'm standing in a trough here.
You're standing in a trough, though not quite the word I would use, and some of our viewers will know why. With the famous trough man.
Oh, yes, okay. I was merely worried about excessive rain. This looks like it could be a...
And I'm on Cuban heels. That's it for this absolutely, I can only describe it as delicious piece of Italian engineering. Hit like.
Or leave a comment.
But above all, don't forget, hit over there to subscribe.